Alright guys, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends play mystery shard only run video. Today we're going to be doing my favorite faction. We're going to be looking at the Ogryn tribes. No, I don't know if it's my favorite faction, but I like big fat ogres, and that's what we're going to look at today. So let's see all the heroes in here and what they can do. Starting with Mr. Gizmak the Terrible. He does look terrible, I'll tell you that much. He actually looks like somebody I know. Yeah, so let's look at his skills. Increases duration of any HP burn debuff on the target by 1 turn. If the target is not under an HP burn debuff, decreases the duration of 2 random buffs on that enemy by 1 turn instead. These effects cannot be resisted if this attack is critical. Then attacks all enemies not under HP burn debuffs except the initial target. Decreases the duration of 2 random buffs on all enemies. That's a lot of nonsense, but it's really good. So from what I can tell. All right, so attacks all enemies before attacking, increases the duration of all HP burn debuffs. So he's basically going to keep making HP burns longer, and then he's going to instantly activate ones. And apparently it can't be resisted if this champion's crit rate is 100%. So you have to have 100% crit rate on this dude. I would assume that changes if you are the incorrect affinity, so just be aware of that. Finally, increases the duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. So yeah, he's one of those dudes that just keeps debuffs up. I like it, and he does burn stuff, so probably really good for clan boss. Places an increased crit damage buff and a 30% crit rate buff. Yeah, all awesome stuff. Transforms into champion, and then he, before the start of this champion's turn, places an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Wow, that's like the poison guy. What's his name? I forgot his name. Calvalax, except he does burns and stuff. Also, before the start of this champion's turn, has a 50% chance of placing HP burn debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Wow, this guy's got a lot of just free burns. He's free bird. All right, so let's see. What does he turn into? Wow, he turns into like a little chicken, right? Oh, I actually like his other version better. This I don't like. Attacks 1 enemy if this champion's HP is the initial target's HP is equal to or lower than 50%. Attacks all enemies instead. So that's actually cool. Increases the duration of 2 random buffs. So he's got honestly all this stuff is just a lot of really good HP burns, decreased defense. He's got he can place taunts and unkillable on this champion. Like, it's a lot of stuff. He does pain link. He ignores 100% of the target's defense. Like, this is a lot of good stuff. I think this guy is probably one of the higher end ones. He's got to have good reviews. Yeah, I'm about to say he's got to have good reviews. There's no way this dude is not having amazing reviews. Awesome for everything. Like, he's great for Hydra. He's great for Spider. Maybe not Spider hard. I don't know how hard he hits, but yeah, definitely regular Spider. Amazing for like so many good bosses, for killing them, clan boss. I would use him everywhere. Awesome hero. All right, Biggin. This reminds me of what is that? Oh my God, Al Bundy. He's reading Biggins. All right, so this guy looks like he was drawn when the games came out. All right, so attacks 1 enemy. Attacks all enemies for 1 time if the first attack is critical. So that's good. Attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. So he's got an attack basically on all enemies for both hits, which is kind of good, and decreased accuracy. It attacks all enemies 2 times. Wow, decreased turn meter, and has a 30% chance of placing decreased speed. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's literally AoE champion. He's probably got really good reviews. Yeah, he's awesome for a lot of stuff. I would say, yeah, Demon Lord doesn't make sense. He's an AoE hero. So basically anything where you have to kill a lot of things at once, throw some attack gear on him, and you're ready to rumble. War Mother. This, I hate her so much. Attacks, not like I hate you, I don't want you, but like I hate you and I hate fighting you. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit places a 50% decreased attack buff, so that's good. Attacks all enemies and places 2 bomb buffs that detonate after 2 turns. Bomb damage increases by 100% on bosses. Awesome. Attacks all enemies and instantly detonates all bombs. So basically, yeah, if you can get her in I would put her in Relentless, is what I would do. Put her in Relentless, have her place these bombs, and hopefully she gets the extra turn. Boom, she can detonate them right after. Everyone's dead. You can literally use her everywhere. Like, that would be an everywhere thing. And what does everyone say? Yeah, I'm surprised she's low, because you could easily make this chick good. I mean, I can see why she's not, I can see why she's not loved. She's not a beloved member of the community. I can tell you why, though, and I think you all understand. All right, Ignatius. That's such a weird name for this giant demon. All right, he attacks 1 enemy, has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff. Not bad. Attacks all enemies, has a provoke. I'll take that. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted. So that's all attack, and then he's got a stun I'll take it. I mean, yeah, HP burn. He's great for everything. He's great for spider, great for clan boss, probably great for a bunch of different things. Yeah, he's good for everything. Campaign, I would build him. He's cool. All right, Gerptic Mossbeard. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Places a 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn on all allies under poison debuffs. That's a very particular thing. Um, Actually, that would be good for the dragon, for the spider. Yeah, because he always goes first and throws poisons on you. So actually, no, that's a good skill. I actually like it because it's very specific, but it's good for a very specific thing. Removes all debuffs except poison. That's good, I guess, from an ally, and then heals them by 30% of their max HP and places a shield buff on the target equal to 20% of their max HP. I wish it was his. Places 2.5 poison debuffs on all allies for 3 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. I love that. Also has an 80% chance of placing. Yeah, this guy's a clan boss master. Clan boss, I would build him for that. I would use him in the spider for that stupid when he poisons your entire team right in the first round. He's great for that. He basically is his whole shtick is that he is good while your team is under the poison debuff, which is exactly what your team's going to be under. So there you go. I would build him immediately. Probably really good reviews, right? Actually, no. Surprisingly enough, I would build him. I would build him anyway. Honestly, screw these reviews. I'm sure there's ways you could use him. I'm sure there's better heroes, and that's why his reviews are low because it requires you to be poisoned for that to work. But I'm not going to lie. If you build him right, I feel like he would be good. Is he going to be a first tier? No, he's not first tier, but he's cool. Gerda, we've gone through. We have a champion spotlight. We don't need to review her. She's awesome for Hydra. She's awesome in so many areas. We put her in Smite. She's an amazing hero. I love her, especially if you're playing the way that I play. Literally game-changing hero. I love her. Built her immediately. All right, Korger Deathbell. This guy looks kind of cool. What does he do? Attacks one enemy, heals the champion by 10% of their max HP. Okay, I'll take that. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of filling the turn meter of all allies by 30%. Also has a 75% chance of removing all debuffs from all allies. I like all of that. Everything in there is good. Places ally protection buff on all allies except this champion, and then also places a 25% strengthen buff on all allies. Love that too. Increases this champion's resist by 20 and defense by 10% for each ally protection buff on allies. That's insanely good. Also increases ally resist by 15%, by 15, and defense by 5% for each ally protection buff on allies. If there are multiple champions, yeah, blah blah blah. Counterattacks whenever an ally under ally protection buff is attacked. That is a really good deal. I would say he's got to have good reviews. Yeah, I would use him in Clan Boss immediately because he'll literally just counterattack every time someone gets a hit, which is cool. And he's got ally protection. He's got turn meter fill. He's got what is that? Removing all debuffs. He's got everything. He's got strengthen. Yeah, this dude is awesome. Build him immediately. Awesome hero. Shamrock, he's good. He's not terrible. Attacks one enemy, 60% chance of removing a random buff. He basically has an unkillable thing. Not unkillable. He's got a revive on death. He places increased defense buff on all allies and an increased speed buff on all allies with more than 50% HP for 2 turns. Also has a 50% chance of placing a crit buff. Yeah. Like I said, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. Places a decreased speed debuff on all enemies. That right there is good. That's why he's good. All right. It fills turn meters of all allies by 15% if an enemy turn meter is below 50%. So that's like kind of an added thing, but yeah, that's really good. He's good for Hydra. I would bring him in there because decreased speed. See, his rates are low because no one's using him probably for what he should be used for, and that is that decreased speed on the entire thing. So I would build him. He's awesome. The revive on death thing it's cute, but I don't know if I wouldn't use him if he didn't have that other skill. All right, Druckle man, Mr. Hammer Block, stupid face. All right, let's go look. Attacks one enemy, 20% chance of placing a stun debuff. Okay. Places a 50% increased attack buff and a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a block damage buff for 1 turn on allies with less. I love that. That's awesome. Active effect. What is this? Is this a passive or something? No, Runestone. Places a shield buff equal to 15% of this champion's max HP on all allies for 3 turns. Passive effect. Okay, so that's the active when you use it. Passive. Heals each ally by 15% of his champion's max HP whenever a shield buff placed by this skill expires, is removed, or is broken by an enemy attack. Allies whose shield buffs are broken will also counterattack the enemy. Yeah, that's actually really cool. I think he's probably got some pretty good reviews, right? Yeah, I figured. Anything that has to do with shields breaking and counterattacking, I'll take it because you're healing, shielding, giving defense, right? And you're going to be able to counterattack with your team. So basically, he's your regular healer, but he also gives everyone the ability to counterattack. Igir the Worm Eater. I mean, he didn't eat it. He's actually Urger the Worm fashion forward crafter guy. Look at this. He crafted a, he didn't eat him. He just crafted him. I don't get it. Whatever. All right. Attacks one enemy. Has an 80% chance of stealing a random buff from an enemy. Also has an 80% chance of placing a block buffs debuff on the enemy for 2 turns. I like that. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. Love that. Then has a 75% chance of placing a weaken. So yeah, amazing. That's like an upgraded version of Gerda, so I love it. Places 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies whose defense is higher than or equal to. That's stupid. If an ally attack is higher than their defense, places. Okay, I mean whatever. It is what it is. It's basically a random roulette shot depending on your team you're using. Unless you're like speed tuning. I mean, not speed tuning. Unless you're tuning your team specifically for that skill. Places a 50% increase after we did all that, right? Passive. Whenever an enemy is revived, instantly activate Earth Puncture. If an enemy is revived by a champion from the Lizardman faction, the effects of Earth Puncture cannot be resisted. Instantly activates Earth Puncture will not place the skill on cooldown. Okay. I mean, what's Earth Puncture? Which one's that? This one. So yeah, he's got basically a counterattack. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't love him. I don't hate him. He's just whatever. He's a whatever hero. I don't hate him, but he's not bad. This guy sucks. I hate fighting him, but apparently people like him. He's basically a revive monster. He attacks 3 times at random and has freeze. He removes all stuff from all allies, which is kind of nice, but it's very specific. Then he does increased defense buff, and he places an ally protection buff on all allies except himself. And then he attacks all enemies and has freezes. Yeah, he decreases turn meter, and he likes to revive, and he's kind of annoying. When he's killed, he revives with 30% HP, 30% turn meter, and places revive on death. So basically, you got to kill him 3 times in a row every single time. So yeah, I mean, you want to build him. I don't have a problem with him. He's just stupid. Like every time I've killed him in the arena, I've killed him 3 times in a row, and he never actually caused any ruckus. He was just dead. All right, Guro. This guy's one of the older ones, I think, right? He has a places an extra hit if the target has freeze, so that's good. Removes 2 random buffs from all enemies and has an 80% chance of placing a freeze debuff on all enemies for 2 turns and grants an extra turn. I like that. Attacks 1 enemy, places an extra hit if the target has freeze. So basically, you got to freeze everyone. Has a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the attacker for 1 turn if this champion loses more than 20% of their max HP. I would put him in a frost set and get him going. Yeah, put him in the frozen set. And every time somebody attacks him, basically, you got double chances of freezing him. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think he's the best hero in the world. Would I build him over a lot of other people? No. But he's not bad. I would use him. All right. This is the guy I actually got the 5-star for, Mr. Iron Gut. So what does he do? Attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. That's insane. Attacks all enemies, heals this champion by 10% of the damage dealt, and increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. Enemy max HP. Yeah, everyone's going to love this guy. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing provoke, and increased resistance and increased defense on all allies, so that's cool. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies except this champion by 70% of the damage received. So that's like upgraded version of what's his name? Mr. Master Butcher guy. Only heals 30%, but he actually works on bosses too. So there you go. Places unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn before receiving a fatal hit. I like that. So yeah, I would build him immediately. He's really good. Really good hero. Look at that. 5/5/5. Yeah, amazing. Amazing hero. Seriously, one of the best. And I have a 5-star on him. So if I ever get him, yeah. So now this is where things start to get a little wonky here. I need you guys to really see what's happening here. So not only do we have this fat ogre monster, but we have this little guy here. He's feeding. So that's like his little, this is like a basket case right here. That's his little friend. And my main concern isn't the fact that he has his face. My main concern is that he has spoons and forks on his head. That's weird. All right. Attacks 1 enemy. Has a 20% chance of applying a buff spread effect, taking 1 random buff from each ally and placing it on all allies. Oh, that's actually pretty cool, I guess. I mean, most of the times at that point, you're gonna be using skills that are on everyone anyway, so I don't know how that is really relevant. Heals all allies by 20% of champion's max HP, so it's his HP, so that's good. Places increased speed buff on all allies and continuous heal buff. Yeah, not bad. Increases the turn meter of all allies by 20%, then places an increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then removes all debuffs from all allies. All right. I mean, all this is good. I mean, nothing here is bad. Is he like a 1st-tier champion? Probably not. But what is his speed thing for? It's all battle. So that's not bad. I mean, he's good for Faction Wars. I mean, I would use him in Faction Wars. He's good Hydra. Yeah. Yeah, he's a basic champion. I don't know how I feel about this little thing and then this hand on this ball coming out of his stomach. I mean, there's a lot of things I have questions about, but yeah, I would use him. All right, let's see. This guy looks cool. He's a mage slayer. Does he really slay though? Attacks one enemy has a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill of an ally with the highest. I don't care about that. Attacks all enemies has 50% chance. I'm sorry, has a 50% increased attack buff and a 60% increased defense buff. Also heals all allies. Okay, great. Revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter, then places a shield buff on all revived allies for 2 turns. All right, so basically just, I would build him probably pretty fast. He has a chance of decreasing all allies skill cooldowns by 1 turn whenever they're revived. Yeah, I mean, basically he's going to revive you, give you some turn meters and stuff, and some shields and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, he can revive and give you shields. I would just build him with like literally the most HP I've ever seen on a hero ever and get his speed up to like 300. You'll basically never die. So yeah, I would build him. Grimskin. I think this guy used to be good, right? Attacks an enemy, decrease speed debuff for 2 turns. All right, whatever. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing provoke. Okay. And attacks all enemies has an 80% chance of removing 1 random buff. I mean, let's put it this way. If this was like 1995, yeah, he'd be good. I'm just kidding. I know the game came out not that long ago. All right. I'm not dumb. I'm making a joke. Please. Yeah. I mean, if I had him and I had no one else, yeah, I would build him. But he's a whatever hero. He's not bad. He's not good. He's just whatever. Ugo's annoying. Yeah, you're probably gonna build him. I think he has really good reviews. Probably. Yeah. His main thing is that he have to build him with a ton of HP and keep him alive long enough, or her, it, this, whatever this is, whatever that face is. Hello, how are you doing? I don't know. I don't know if that's how, I don't know if that's how Ugo would sound. But there you go. Yeah. Either way, does some really cool stuff. But the main thing is that puts up a block damage and then revives everyone. So yeah, good healer, good all around. Claude, I actually used a while back. I think he's the one with the shield, right? Yeah, decreased crit rate, shield buff on all allies, places increased speed and accuracy. He's not bad. I used him for a little while in the arena sometimes just to keep my team alive, but then I realized that was a bad idea. But he's all right. He's not terrible. I mean, he's got good reviews. I don't hate him. I wouldn't build him now like as a first tier hero. I would build my Candle Guard over him. Siege Hulk is sick. I would build him. He's a really good damage dealer. You can see. Main reason is this. Where is it? He places the increased attack buff on this champ for 2 turns and attacks all enemies. So he basically increases his own attack, all right, and then hits everybody. And then he also has increased crit damage for 2 turns, and then attacks enemies. Everything he does increases his attack before he attacks. So putting him in like a lifesteal set, he could actually probably wreck a lot of things. I would build him. Yes, he's a very good hero. Lorne the Cutter, he looks cool. Attacks one enemy 3 times, heals his champion. Attacks all enemies, has a 74% chance of placing a leech. So he's a heal dude, and a heal reduction. That's not bad. Attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 100%. Yeah, immediately Fire Knight. That's what he is. He's Fire Knight. Yep. 4.8, not surprised. Yeah, this guy's a Fire Knight champ. If you have him, build him, you'll get through Fire Knight just fine. He's pretty sick. That 100, that basically is going to be enough to get you through it. I mean, we could do without these ears. I don't know what's going on there, but other than that, yeah, build him immediately for Fire Knight if you're having trouble, and you will have 0 problem. He'll remove all turn meter and do the heal reduction. So if the shield does come back up, you're good to go anyway. And he has a 3-hitter on his A1. Done. Skull Crusher. All right, he does the heal reduction. He has ally protection and unkillable. So this guy is he's a monster. He's basically one of those guys that I think that people use in unkillable comps for clan boss. He's got a lot of reviews. Yeah, Demon Lord 4.9 because people use him in unkillable. So yeah, if you need an unkillable clan boss team, build him immediately. If you don't need that, build him immediately. He's good for a lot of stuff. Anything that can make everyone unkillable is good. Shatterbones is whatever. He's got what is it? An increased attack buff on all allies on his A1, which is a little weird. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Has a 50% chance to decrease the turn meter by 30%. I'm not mad at that. 3 times? Is that each turn though? That's the question. Places 15% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns and fills turn meter. It looks like there's no percentage, so that means he just drops it. That would be actually probably pretty good for if you need someone for Iron Twins. Yeah, he's got. I'm not surprised his ratings are reasonable. He's good for what he's good at. That's what he's good for. Grunch. I don't even know if anyone. I think everyone hates him, right? No, they like him. What does he do? He has an attack on one enemy and he blocks buffs, so that's exciting. Attacks all enemies and places bomb debuffs. Okay. Removes all debuffs from all allies, then places a continuous heal buff. Okay. And fills turn meter of all allies. So yeah, he's got bombs. Yeah, whenever a bomb detonates. So basically just keep blowing up bombs. Bring him in with that other bomb hero with was that booby monster ogre lady? Bring him in with that and there you go. Every time a bomb goes off, he's gonna heal everyone. I like it. Heal everyone, right? Or no? Yeah, that's fill turn meter. You just get a bunch of turn meter. I like it. See, sometimes people don't think about the combo of certain heroes. They'll be like, "Oh, that skill's stupid," but then you bring it up with another hero, and you're like, "Oh, wait, that's actually insanely good." C's nuts. All right, he looks good. All right, cool. Let's look what he does. Attacks one enemy, places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. If this attack is critical, so it has to be critical. Attacks one enemy 3 times, fills champion's turn meter by 10% on each crit. So that's cool, I guess. Attacks all enemies. This places a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns before attacking. That's very important because he does it beforehand, and then he heals this champion by 5% of their max HP on each critical hit. Oh, okay, of his max HP. Yeah, if he was based on HP, he'd probably be awesome, but I feel like he's going to be garbage. No, people like him. All right, I mean he's good. He's not terrible. He's whatever. Old Gruckus. Yeah, he's making a gruckus. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a leech. I like it. Attacks one enemy, 60% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed buff for 2 turns. Also has a 40% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter. Okay, I like that. Attacks all enemies, decrease attack debuff and heal reduction. I mean, he's a generic hero. I don't really see anything amazing. He's not bad. He's not good. He's just whatever. Galcut attacks one enemy 2 times. Has 25% chance of placing a decreased defense. Okay, so that's a good start. Attacks all enemies one by one in random order. Damage inflicted decreases by 20% each hit. That's stupid. Just make it attack. Attacks all enemies. Places a bomb that detonates. I like that. And crit raid. Yeah, I mean, he's whatever. He's not bad. Not good. I wouldn't pick him. Let's put it that way. Cage Breaker. This guy looks like he's just got lit on fire. Has an attack on one enemy. Has 40% chance of placing decreased defense. So everyone's going to start having that. Attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a sleep. That's stupid. I don't like that. Attacks all enemies. Destroys each target's max HP by 50% of the damage inflicted. Really? And grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to destroy max HP the slow way, just one-shot him. Like, why would you even need that? I mean, it's good for Scarab. You know what I mean? Like that's destroy HP is good for Scarab. He's probably a Scarab hero. I don't think he's gonna have much to offer here. I wouldn't bring him in anything. Except Scarab, that's really it. Scarab's where he's good. Occult Roller, he gets a lot of good reviews. Has a 50% chance of placing poison debuff for 2 turns, like it. Attacks one enemy. If this champion is under 1 or more debuffs, this attack will ignore 30% of defense. If this champion is under 2 or more debuffs, this champion is blah blah. If this champion is under 4 or more debuffs, blah 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 blah. We're done. Places a 2.5% poison debuff on this champion for 4 turns at the start. Yeah. Okay. Oh, on this champion. So he basically poisons himself to death. Everyone seems to like him in Demon Lord. I mean, I've heard he's good. I think he is probably the reason he's good, honestly, just from reading all that nonsense, is that he's probably with an unkillable comp because I feel like he's not by himself. I don't think he would be good. But I don't know. I mean, if you let me know because I'm sure he is good. Like I know he has his place. I'm sure he's really good in clan boss, but I just feel like it's an unkillable thing because he's got to be poisoned, so it's stupid. So normal stuff, no. Grush, we have a champion spotlight on. You can go look at it. He's awesome, awesome hero. Great for tons of stuff in the city. Great for tons of stuff in clan boss and Doom Tower. Awesome hero. Build him. He's a great healer, support hero. This guy looks cool. I like his axe. That's nice. All right, attacks one enemy 4 times. Already love him. Each hit heals the ally with the lowest HP by 2% of the champion's max HP. I love that. Is he an HP hero? Yes. Oh my god, I love him. So yeah, that would be a good Fire Knight hit right there. Heals all allies by 10% of his champion's max HP. Also really great and puts counterattack buff on this champion. I'll take it. Places reflect damage and shield buff equal to 20% of the champion's max HP on all allies. All this is really good. Restores destroyed max HP whenever this champion heals themselves or an ally. The amount of HP restored is equal to 30% of the heal. Yeah, that is insane kit. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm sure he has really good reviews. That's a really good kit. He's basically a self-sustained monster. Like he can just destroy anything by himself. Literally awesome. If you could put him in as a solo monster killer, I would build him also immediately. Maneater, everyone uses him for unkillable. We don't need to review him. Everyone knows Maneater. If you need an unkillable team in Clan Boss, he's your man. Get it? He's your man because it's Maneater. All right, I'm done. Towering Titan. He looks like that other guy, except stupider. Let's look. attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Attacks 4 times at random. The first hit has a 100% chance of placing a provoke. The other hits have a 50% chance of placing a revoke. Okay, I mean, I don't understand why that is, but sure. Places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. 50% continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns, as well as a shield buff on this champion equal to that. That's a lot of nonsense. Will transfer 50% of the damage inflicted on Cage Breaker to this champion during the battle. All right, so if you want, you use him with Cage Breaker, but we're not going to do that. So I would just say pass. Skronk. All right, let's see. What does he do? 40% chance of placing a weaken. Okay. Increase this. All right, so he has to have HP burn to get it to 75. Attacks one enemy 2 times, heals his champion by 50% of their max HP on each hit. Okay. Attack and HP burn, increase attack. He's still an attack hero, so the HP thing is not very interesting to me. Attacks all enemies, has a 65% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns, and fills his champion's turn meter. I mean, he's good. He's not like, oh my god, good, but he's good enough. I mean, he looks like something out of Final Fantasy. He looks like the goblin you shoot in the face in the beginning of the game. Grundar. This guy looks like his helmet doesn't fit. All right. Attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, and a 30% chance of placing a stun instead when counterattacking. Okay, does this hero have a counterattack? Attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff, and a 60% chance, 60% increased defense on himself. Places a strengthen and continuous heal buff on all allies. Receives 20% less damage from enemies under provoke, has a 25% chance of counterattacking. So there you go. Put him in a counterattack set, get his defense all the way up, and boom, you got yourself a nice little provokey tank. Provokey man. Ogryn, everyone uses him. Apparently, he has a poison on his A1. He's got a removal of all debuffs from an ally, and then heals them, so that's okay. Places 2 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns, and then a continuous heal buff. Speed in all battles. I mean, he's a good speed lead. He's got poisons, clan boss, things like that. I mean, I don't see why everyone loves him. He's not the best thing ever, but he's not bad. He's good. I would build him. Rocktooth, he's a good early game hero. If you're going to use him, he's got heal reduction, he's got crit rate up, he's got an AoE. I would build him in the beginning if you literally just start the first week. I still have not gotten him to level 60, so he's obviously not super important to me, but I also haven't gotten far in Ogryn. Actually, no, we're at almost at the end of Ogryn. So yeah, he's not super necessary, but hey, another 60 is always good. Pounder. This guy everyone hates, but I actually don't hate him. He does decreased attack. He has a freeze, which is not terrible. He also increases the resistance of all allies by 50% for each active buff. So if you give him a bunch of buffs, everyone gets resistance. And he increases magic ally attack. So if you're using him in Faction Wars with a bunch of magic heroes, then yeah, he would be worth it. But otherwise, I mean, he's probably a skip, but he's not terrible. He hits pretty hard. I'm not mad at him. Fortress Goon, surprisingly enough, not terrible, not bad. He actually does some reasonable stuff. He's got decreased speed. He does attack all enemies and does heal reduction. He also heals all allies and puts increased defense, which is good for Faction Wars. So yeah, I have him level 50. He's a pretty cool hero. I don't hate him, and he's a good support hero. Wagon Bane, I have not leveled really. I think he's level 40. He attacks one enemy and decreases accuracy. He also has a continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP, and he has a 75% chance of placing a decreased defense debuff. So if you want to kill something fast, yeah, and he also has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%, which is garbage. I probably wouldn't level him. He's kind of whatever, but he's not terrible. He's not the worst thing I've seen. He's just not that good. Magma Blood, he's a pretty reasonable hero. He does reasonable damage. I don't hate him. I think he does bombs, right? Stun. Yeah, he places bombs and he has an attack on all enemies. He's a great early game hero. That's really about it. But I still haven't built him. So if that helps. Rough Stone. A lot of these. It's funny because a lot of these I have built. So yeah, if I don't have them built yet, it's probably means that they're not a priority. Rough Stone, same thing. He's an okay hero. He attacks all enemies on his A1, so he could be a campaign farmer if you want. Attacks one enemy, destroys the target's max HP, so he's good for Scarab. And he attacks one enemy and will ignore 50% of the target's defense. Has a 50% chance of granting an extra turn if it's critical. So yeah, you could use him. I mean, he's not bad. I don't hate him. I haven't built him yet. Ogryn Jailer, really good hero. He does some pretty good stuff. He actually removes buffs. He actually steals buffs. And then he attacks one enemy, damage increases by 20% if the target has no active buffs. So basically, you're just stealing all their buffs and then doing more damage against them if they have no buffs. But if you're fighting heroes like me, they are always going to have buffs because they love putting buffs up. Lumberer, really good hero, AoE specialist. He actually increases his crit or crit damage, right here. Attacks one enemy. This one increases crit damage buff for 2 turns and then attacks all enemies. So that's actually really cool. And then he has a decreased attack and also has a 20% chance of increasing the duration of decreased defense by debuff by 1 turn. So yeah, he's definitely got some cool skills. I would use him in the early games. He's probably really good in lifesteal if I had to guess. If you want to keep him alive, unless you have a good team with shields. But yeah, otherwise stack him up with freaking attack and he's going to kill everything. Fury Stoker. He stokes no fury. Attacks one enemy and he has a chance of placing an extra hit. He removes all debuffs from the target ally and heals them. I mean, that's whatever. And he heals the ally with the lowest HP by 7.5% each turn. I mean, yeah, there's better healers. Siegebreaker is awesome. He's an AoE hero. He has 0 things that he needs to worry about except damage. So literally just put damage on him. I don't even think he has a debuff. Let's look. Yeah, he has a chance of placing block active skills. Who the hell cares? He increases crit rate for 2 turns on himself and then attacks. Yeah. Oh, wait, chance of decreasing turn meter by 30% if his attack is critical. So yeah, basically just give him a bunch of crit, speed, and he's good to go. He'll just do a ton of damage. I am actually looking forward to building him. He just hasn't come up yet, but I definitely want to, and I have for a while. Flesh Eater is garbage. We don't even need to really dig into him. He's got a freeze. He attacks an enemy 2 times and places increased attack buff. There's plenty of heroes that do this. You don't need him. Spirit Host is better and she's free. Rock Beast, not bad, not good. You get him from where do you get him from? I think Fusion, right? Attacks an enemy, has a provoke. He fills turn meter, increases defense, and attacks all enemies, and has a 75% chance of placing decreased speed. So actually, surprisingly enough, that could be good for Hydra. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that no one's using him, but yeah, it's he has decreased speed on an AOE, so that's actually I didn't even know that, to be honest. So I'm glad we do these things. So yeah, I would build him for Hydra. 100%. Bellower, awesome hero. We don't need to dig into him. Everyone uses him. He's got AoE stuns and all kinds of stuff. He's amazing. He's a great solo farmer. He's a great campaign farmer. Awesome hero. Build him as soon as you get him. Gear Grinder. I don't even know what he does. Continuous heal buff on him if it's crit. Heals all allies and then revives a dead ally. So he's a reviver. So if you get him early, yeah, build him a little bit. I wouldn't go to 60 with him, but yeah, build him as an early game reviver if you do happen to pull him. Mycolis. Mycola. I mean, he looks kind of cool. He looks like someone I know. Um, Attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 30% of damage inflicted. Also heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of their max HP. This heal will not affect this champion. I don't know what that means. Okay. Places shield buff on this champion for 2 turns, and then ally protection buff on all allies except this champion. Okay. Decreases the damage of all allies received by 5%. This champion will receive that damage instead. So yeah, he's just he's a damage soaker support. So sure, I'll take it. Just give him as much defense and HP as possible. Brute. We're finally into uncommon 2 times at random and 30% chance of inflicting an extra hit. Garbage. Frostkin. Attacks one enemy, has chance of placing a freeze, and fully depletes a target's turn meter. Heals that ally. Wait, fully depletes a target ally's turn meter. Heals the ally equal to 50% of the lost turn meter. Heals the target by 10% if their turn meter is less than 10% full. That is the stupidest skill I've ever heard. Who would trade turn meter? I mean, who would trade your turn for a heal? Get out of here. All right, so this is Old Beard. We're about to find New Beard. Attacks one enemy, has 25% chance of placing a 25% increased attack buff. That's cool. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a leech. I mean, I don't hate it, but he's not great. He's actually, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. He kind of looks funny. He looks like an old cartoon character from like a Disney movie. All right, Hungerer, who also does not know how to spell. Let's see. Attacks one enemy, has a chance of stunning, and places shield buff on all allies equal to 10% of the champion's max HP. I mean, just use Valerie. All right. I mean, granted, if you're using it for faction wars, you can't. But yeah, Thrasher attacks one enemy and has a 50% chance of placing block buffs. No one's going to use you. He's the last one on the list. So yeah, unfortunately, that's it. All right. So I mean, out of everybody here, I would say obviously this guy is banging good, like literally insanely good. I would build him if you got him. Even if you don't have his skill books, I would build him. So don't think that that's bad. If I had to pick any hero in here that I would say outside of Gerda that I would definitely build, I would 100% say my favorite in here would be this guy. I think he is an insanely good hero. I would probably say he's my number one, unless you have something specific that you can't beat. In the epics, I mean, I don't really know. This one's tough because there's a lot of heroes in here that have utility in areas that I'll probably never use them for. So, like Maneater and things like that, um, Skull Crusher, like those are the kinds of heroes that I think most players will use. Otherwise, I would build this guy. Like he's my number one. I really like him. He's definitely interesting, and I think he would probably help my account the most. And as far as down here goes, I mean, I have built a few of these. We actually haven't gotten too far in them. But funny enough, out of everyone here, my favorite, even though he's not really good in the utility sense, I guess, but my favorite here would be Siegebreaker, just because he's really strong and does a ton of damage. So he's definitely going to be someone that we do build for this faction probably. But if you're going for overall, I mean, probably Lumberer or Jailer would be, your better choices here. And then maybe Rock Beast if you need that decreased speed. So yeah, that's basically it for today. We've looked at all of the Ogryn tribe. I think everyone's very happy, and they're really good. It's a really good tribe. There's a lot of really good heroes in there. Unfortunately, none of them are rare. It's just an unfortunate side effect of the longevity of this game. They stopped making really good rares. All right, so yeah, if you guys have any questions, things you want to talk about, if there's any heroes that you saw that I maybe misrepresented and in a light that you didn't appreciate, and you just want to yell at me and tell me I suck because I made fun of your favorite hero, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I made fun of your hero. Whatever, you can, yeah, just tell me. It's all good. And as always, like, share, subscribe. It's great for the channel. We do a live show every single week. You guys can check it out. And yeah, that's it for today. This is the quick overview of the Ogryn tribe, the biggest, baddest, and ugliest faction in the entire game. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and you guys take care.